happen. Gotta lead, I can't keep moving backwards no more. Stay focused, run it up and stack it. No more distractions, and I ain't getting stagnant no more. Believe this shit happen. Gotta lead, I can't keep moving backwards no more. Stay focused, run it up and stack it. No more distractions, and I ain't.
What's up, gang? Tonight to my boy Fetty busted for a multi-million-dollar drug operation. You know what I mean? Let's go, let's get it, man. Let's see what's going on. And shout out my boy Hip Hop Daily for the video, you know what I mean? Let's get it.
Fetty Wap was one of the hottest stars in the rap game at one time after Trap Queen went viral back in 2014. But now, the rapper is facing the possibility of life in prison after police arrested him along with 5 other men right before performing at Rolling Loud in New York. Here's what happened. On Thursday, October 28, Fetty Wap was scheduled to perform at the Rolling Loud Festival at Citi Field in Queens, New York. But before he went on stage, he got arrested by the FBI on federal drug charges. According to legal documents from TMZ, Fetty and 5 other men were all arrested on charges of distributing more than 100 kilos of coke, crack, heroin, and fentanyl all across Long Island and New Jersey. Police say the drugs were bought on the West Coast.
God damn. What the fuck?
And were all arrested on charges of distributing more than 100 kilos of coke, crack, heroin, and fentanyl all across Long Island and New Jersey. Police say the drugs were bought on the West Coast and then smuggled back east using stash spots inside of used USPS vehicles. Police records also claim that during their investigation, they found over $1.5 million in cash, 16 keys of cocaine, 2 keys of heroin, as well as fentanyl pills and multiple guns. All of the men involved, including Fetty, are facing a minimum of 10 years up to life in prison if convicted. Fetty Wap's lawyer, Navarro Gray, told the press that, "We pray this is all just a big misunderstanding and hope that Fetty will be released soon so we can clear things up as soon as possible." According to Timothy D. Sinney, the district attorney of Suffolk County, New York, the defendants used Southern Long Island as their base of operations to run a multi-million-dollar interstate drug ring. He accused Fetty and his crew of being wholesale drug dealers who trafficked millions of dollars worth of narcotics across state lines and sold them to smaller dealers who flipped the drugs on the street. Charges against 3 other men in the case were already filed back in June 2020. The DEA announced charges against 23-year-old Anthony Sinjay of Passaic, a former New Jersey corrections officer, as well as 26-year-old Brian Sullivan of Lake Grove, New York, and 47-year-old Anthony Leonardi of Coram, New York. Charges were also brought against 2 other men on the same day as Fetty Wap, including 26-year-old Robert Leonardi, the brother of one of the men previously arrested, and 26-year-old Kevon Wiggins. Prosecutors say that the Leonardi brothers, along with Sullivan and Wiggins, set up the purchase and shipment of the drugs from the West Coast. They accused Fetty Wap of acting as a kilogram-level redistributor. Anthony Sinjay is accused of moving the cocaine to New Jersey to be distributed. Police believe that Brian Sullivan and Anthony Leonardi's son, James Sosa, was running the operation. They both got arrested last year and charged with working as major drug traffickers. As of right now, it's not exactly clear what Fetty Wap's involvement was. Based on the news reports, it sounds like Fetty was getting keys from the West and then used his connections in the streets to flip it to local dealers. But for now, it's hard to tell how much he was really involved. Fetty Wap has been pretty low-key the past few years, despite his success early on in his career. He was born and raised in Paterson, New Jersey. As a child, he developed glaucoma in both eyes after an accident, and the doctor could only save one. So he lost his left eye, which later gave him a unique look. He went to Eastside High School in Paterson, but dropped out to chase a music career. He started rapping and taking music seriously around 2013. At first, he was just rapping, but later switched to singing because he wanted to stand out. He always had the nickname Fetty because he was a well-known hustler in his hood and was always trying to get money. He threw the WAP on the end when he started rapping, which was a tribute to Gucci Mane, who called himself Goo-Wop. He dropped his breakout hit Trap Queen in early 2014. The song was the lead single from his debut mixtape, Up Next. Trap Queen didn't take off right away, but by the end of 2014, it racked up millions of plays on SoundCloud. This secured him a deal with 300 Entertainment with distribution through Atlantic Records in November 2014. Fetty was included on the XXL 2015 freshman class list with rappers like Vince Staples, Shy Glizzy, and Gold Link. After that, he dropped his next single, 679, featuring members of his Remy Boys crew, Monty and P. Dice. The song peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, his second highest charting single after Trap Queen. Fetty would later fall out with P. Dice over a beef with another Paterson rapper named Tax G. Tax G claimed Fetty jacked his style by rocking blonde dreadlocks that looked just like his. The rapper called Fetty a copycat, but his beef was really with P. Dice. So, Tax G said if Fetty kicked P. Dice out of the group, they could squash the beef. Fetty ended up kicking Dice out of the group, but said it wasn't just because of the beef with Tax G. He said that Dice only wanted to come around for big shows and wasn't putting in the work to build the Remy Boys brand. When 679 dropped, he wanted an even split for the performances together, even though Fetty Wap was the one bringing in all the fans. So Fetty kicked him out of the group, and his verse wasn't featured on the album version of the song. But the internal beef ain't so down his grind. In July 2015, he dropped his third single, My Way, which peaked at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song got remixed by Drake, which gave it a major boost. So it seemed like Fetty Wap was taking over the rap game, and every single he dropped did massive numbers. He was the first male artist with 3 songs in top 20 spots on Billboard since Eminem set the record in 2013. So for a while, it seemed like Fetty Wap couldn't be stopped and was on his way to being one of the biggest stars of this generation. But when you blow up overnight and experience so much success early on in your career, it's hard to keep up that momentum forever. Fetty dropped his debut commercial album, Fetty Wap, in September 2015. The album debuted at number 1 on Billboard because it was supported by 4 chart-topping singles: Trap Queen, 679, My Way, and Again. A lot of fans said the album lacked versatility, and it seemed like Fetty was just making different versions of the same song over and over. But it was still a commercial success, selling 129,000 albums and earning Fetty 2 Grammy nominations. A few days after the album dropped, Fetty got into a motorcycle accident that almost killed him after being hit head-on by a car driving the opposite direction. Paramedics treated him at the scene, and he was brought to the hospital in stable condition. Over the years, he continued to do successful features. In 2015, he was featured on the Lil Dicky song, Save That Money, with Rich Homie Quan. Fetty also teamed up with pop group Fifth Harmony in 2016 for the track All In My Head, Flex, which also climbed to the top of the charts. But Fetty's solo songs ain't had the same kind of impact as his early hits. Around 1:20 a.m. on November 2nd, 2017, Fetty was arrested after being pulled over on the highway in Brooklyn. A cop saw him going over 100 miles per hour in a 2012 Mercedes. He was charged with drunk driving, reckless endangerment, aggravated unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle, illegally changing lanes, and drag racing. He later said that the charges were exaggerated, but he did have 2 shots of cognac before driving. It was 2 a.m. and there was no cars on the highway, so he decided to drive home. But other than that, Fetty's kept a low profile over the last few years. He's continued to drop music and recently released his second studio album, The Butterfly Effect, on October 22nd, just a week before he got arrested. It's been 6 years since he dropped his first album, and this project was supposed to be a comeback album for him. But now, it seems like Fetty Wap got himself caught up in a legal situation that could end it all. He's facing some pretty serious...
Man, I don't know, man, but these rappers got to stay out of the way. Y'all making money, stay out of the way, man. These drug shit, some serious charges, man. I ain't gonna lie, man.
It's been 6 years since he dropped his first album, and this project was supposed to be a comeback album for him. But now, it seems like Fetty Wap got himself caught up in a legal situation that could end it all. He's facing some pretty serious charges, and the cops been going hard cracking down on street-affiliated rappers who's living a double life. As of now, they ain't granted Fetty a bond, and he's currently behind bars waiting for the case to be processed. More info will probably come out once the rapper sees a judge, so stay posted for updates.
Man,
I've been taking the supplement.
That's crazy, man. Free my nigga Fetty Wap, you know what I mean? Man, my nigga Fetty, man. He innocent. Free my nigga, man. Anyway, man, we fuck with Fetty Wap, we fuck with me, man. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. We try to run it up, man. Let's go, let's get it, man.